Chapter 11. Overheard Conversations.
Lydia.
On Thursday, I show up on time. I even stopped to get a coffee. As I approach the den, I take a sip of it and spot Wes outside the entrance. He's talking to a woman who looks vaguely familiar. She's beautiful, but in a cold way. Her skin is pale and perfect, and her pale red hair, almost strawberry blonde, seems to defy the wind. I walk slowly toward them as I try to remember where I've seen her before. I'm fairly certain it was off campus. Maybe at a bar. Getting closer, I notice Wes is upset. He's trying to appear neutral, but I can tell anger is steaming from him. His attention is on the woman in front of him as she pleads her case. Please, Wes. We got her together, and I have no one else to turn to. Her voice is slightly annoying, and it helps bring the puzzle pieces together. I remember seeing her last year at this little dive bar not too far off campus, where they have loads of live bands. I remember because I was flirting with this drummer, and she swooped in and hooked up with him in the bathroom. I don't know, Chloe, Wes says and sounds tired. We agreed she's your responsibility. You said you wanted her. Chloe. So that would make her Wes' ex. I try to keep my distance as I pass them by. It's just for the weekend, hun, I would owe you big time, Chloe says. You know I have a game on Friday. I'm sure she'll manage alone for a few hours. I can drop her off in the afternoon. Please, you know how important these girls' trips are to me. Her voice changes on the last sentence and I narrow my eyes. She's lying. I'm sure of it. I almost feel bad for Wes, but he is an asshole after all. I can almost feel his sigh as he agrees. Chloe squeals and I hurry inside before the sound breaks my eardrums. I dare a glance behind me and see her hugging Wes as she thanks him. I sip my coffee and go to the store where Ms. Tina is waiting. No Wes today, she asks. He's coming. He ran into someone outside. I head to the back and hang up my stuff and finish my coffee. It's not my business if Wes' ex is lying to him and using him. He can take care of himself. As I toss the coffee mug in the trash, he comes stalking in and deposits his bag in the back. Ms. Tina shows us what needs to be done today and hands Wes the keys to lock up. It irks me a bit that he's the one getting trusted with the responsibility and not me. But I try to tell myself I'm better off. Once Ms. Tina leaves, we get on with the work. There's not much to do, but enough to keep us busy for a while at least. I take it that was your ex, I say when we're alone. None of your business. He sulks by a shipment of skate guards. Fine. I hold up my hands and get back to dusting a shelf of coffee mugs. We work in silence for a while. The only interruptions are customers that show up sporadically. She needs me to take care of the dog, Wes says out of nowhere after a customer leaves with a new jersey. What? I look up from the register, confused. Chloe. My ex. We got a dog together before we broke up. That was stupid. I leave the register and walk over to him. He glares at me.
Anyway.
She needs me to look after Max, the dog, this weekend. She's going on a girls' trip. I meet his eyes, but he turns away. I shake my head. She's not going on a girls' trip. Of course she is.
You're an idiot for trusting her. You don't even know her.
I know enough. And if she's going on a girls' trip, I will. I'll cheer you on at the next game. He gets a strange, distant look before he squints at me. I don't need you to cheer me on. He grabs an empty box and heads to the back room. That's fine, but she's still using you so she can hook up with some guy. His back stiffens before he slams the door open and disappears. I think back to when I saw Chloe at the bar. We probably spoke a few times. Maybe in line to the bathroom, or waiting at the bar. I have this vague memory of her mentioning a boyfriend at some point. I didn't think it was serious, since she was there meeting other guys. But if they got a dog together, it must have been. At least from Wes' side. He's in a foul mood for the rest of the day, and I do my best to avoid him. Once it's finally time to close, I leave him to lock up and hurry off to a small waiting area near the front doors. I sit down on the sofa and bring up my phone. The bus won't show up for another 15 minutes, so I might as well wait in here. I'm scrolling mindlessly when I hear someone shouting for Wes. I don't bother turning to see who it is. It's some of his hockey player friends. By the way they shout as if they own the whole den, it's hard to mistake them for visitors. Well, 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 one of them says mockingly. You'll do just about anything to not have to lift with us. Give it a rest, JD, Wes says grumpily. I hear him lock the door and the guys slowly move closer. I still can't believe you actually have to work here, one of the other guys says.
Yeah, you're an idiot for getting caught.
I still can't believe you broke into the den, JD says, and I can hear the disappointment across the open space.
Was it even worth it?
Yeah, was it?
Lydia is pretty hot.
My ears perk up as I wait for the reply. Wes snorts. A hot mess, you mean? This comment elicits laughter from the others. Yeah, JD says. I heard she slept with half the EPC house. I don't doubt it, Wes says. I heard she uses dates to get free food and drinks. I blink. Do people really say that? It's not true. But since a lot of the students here have rich parents, they have a tendency to choose restaurants and places that are way out of my budget. So why should I pay if I don't pick the place? I do her, one guy says. Even if I had to buy her food first. I wouldn't sink that low, the other nameless guy says. I heard she grew up as trailer trash. Shut it, Ethan. Not everyone grew up with nannies wiping their ass with $100 bills, JD says. There's a muffled sorry from Ethan. What were you thinking, going off with her? The unnamed guy says.
You're much too good for her.
She could have ended your career. I'm holding my breath, waiting for Wes' answer. Did you need a ride or what? I hear she gives great head, JD says as they move toward the exit. She's probably had a lot of practice, Wes says and holds the door open for his friends. They all laugh as my insides grow cold. I watch them through the window as they head for the car. Is that really what people think of me? I'm no angel, but I never thought people I barely know would be scrutinizing my actions like this. Have I really become the campus slut? To be fair, they didn't call me that. And the hockey team is mostly made up of fuckboys. But it still hurt more than I thought to be seen only as someone who fucks around. I make sure they're all gone before I head to the bus stop. And how would they know if I give good head or not? Is that something guys talk about? I mean, I do. I'm great at it, but still. As a general rule, I don't talk about the guys I sleep with. To Trisha and Prez's disappointment. I guess the guys aren't quite as conscientious. I sigh and hurry my steps as I see the bus in the distance. I shouldn't care what they think of me. I really shouldn't. So why does it hurt? My first impression of Wes was correct. He's a selfish fuckboy. Chapter 12. Equally bitchy.
Lydia.
I think what hurt the most was that Wes didn't speak up for me. Not that I expected him to. But maybe, somewhere deep down inside, I thought he had gotten to know me a little, and that would be enough for him to not let them talk about me like that. I was wrong. I spend the weekend with Trisha and Prez. I dance and drink and try to forget how they laughed at me. When a cute guy flirts with me, I want to say yes. I want to drag him off to the bathroom and do what I've done so many times before. But I don't. Something is stopping me. Maybe it's the idea of this guy laughing at me as well. Or the realization that it's all so empty. Everything I do feels empty now. And I think my parents wouldn't like it. So I have another drink and fend off another drunk guy wanting to hook up. Do they really think I'm that easy? If they do, is it because I am? Prez asks me why I didn't go with the guy, but all I can say is that I'm not in the mood. Which I realize is true. I have no desire to have a quick fuck in a bathroom. The way the hockey players laughed at me, is still echoing in my head on Tuesday when I return to the den. Part of me wants to yell at Wes, call him out, and demand an apology. The other part wants to hide. I shouldn't be ashamed of who I am. And there's nothing wrong with having fun and sleeping around. I know that. So why does it feel like I've been caught with my hand in the cookie jar? Lydia, Ms. Tina says when I arrive. There's not too much to do today. I was just telling Wes which displays need to be tidied up. We haven't gotten any new merch, so you should be able to take it easy today. I nod. Great. I'm going to head home then. Ms. Tina grabs her purse. As always, you can call me if there are any problems. She leaves the store and I see the security guard, Kevin, follow her to the doors. How was your weekend? Wes asks. Fine. I grab a stack of hoodies and start refolding them. Good. Mine was good too. We won the game on Friday. I know they won the game. I happened to see the result. When I looked it up. Well, at least you're good at something. He wrinkles his forehead at me before he goes to the other side of the store to busy himself with something or other. A few customers stop by, and I put on a fake smile as I check them out and tell them to have a nice evening. When we're alone again, I hear a soft fuck from Wes. What? I ask, still annoyed at him and not sure if I should call him out. He hesitates for a moment, looking off towards a corner of the room. Then he turns his screen towards me. It shows a picture of Chloe and a guy the first don't know. Their heads are close together as they're sitting in front of 2 plates of food. Both of them are smiling happily. I guess you were right, Wes says through clenched teeth. Yeah, that doesn't look like a girl's weekend. I told you she was lying. His head snaps toward me, and he almost bares his teeth in a snarl. Yeah, I got that.
No need to be a bitch about it.
The hypocrisy is too much. I scoff. Like you're never a bitch. What's that supposed to mean? I move my jaws to keep them from clenching. Forget it. I don't want to talk about it. I wish I could forget everything I heard. He narrows his eyes and for a moment, I think he's going to push the issue. Then the door opens and a customer walks in. I swivel around with my fake smile. Good afternoon. How can I help you? Wes' eyes linger on me. But for the rest of the evening, I ignore him and stay as far away as possible. He approaches me once, but I inform him I have to use the restroom and duck away before he can say anything. The shift comes to an end, and I turn off the lights and make sure everything is in order before I grab my bag and hurry past Wes, who's waiting to lock the door. Do you need a ride home? He asks before I can escape. I don't need any favors. I can handle myself. I start walking away, but his hand grabs my wrist and stops me. He pulls me back, forcing me to look up at him. What is your problem? He says. We have to work together. Can't you at least be civilized? I'm seething. Our eyes meet, and I want to tell him exactly what's on my mind. But I can't think of a way to word it that won't come off as a child begging for approval. So I shoot daggers at him with my eyes and try not to get lost in his. You're one to talk about civilized, I finally say when I can't take the tension any longer. My problem is that you're a shitty person, and I want nothing to do with you. And here we are, forced to work together. He's still holding my wrist and I'm doing nothing to break free. I crane my neck to look up at him as he leans in closer. His lips are right there, looking so soft and inviting. Stop being a bitch. His words bring me out of the trance his presence put me in. This is all on you. His eyes dip to my lips and I part them slightly, holding my breath. Does he remember our kiss? Is he thinking about it? I swear his mouth comes closer. Then, all of a sudden, he lets go of my arm and reaches for the door. While I stand there confused and dazed, he locks the door and walks away. I exhale and close my eyes. He must be doing that on purpose. Trying to make me frazzled. Is he trying to get back at me for what I did? That can't be it, can it? But why else does he keep getting close to me?